can smell them from 50 yards away, a claggy stench of ammonia mixed with rancid plums. I have slender stalagmites swaying on top of my head, a spiky halo which doubles as a hat. The side of my face is painted with a blue and white wave. This is my defence against the dullness of normal society. It says I'm different, I'm a rebel. Polished cherry reds on my feet, a tartan boiler suit topped off with a black velvet bolero jacket. Black smudged eyes, deep violet lipstick, that's me sorted. One last swig of vodka and I'm off. Monday will come round soon enough and a trip to the dole office, then the endless wait for my measly 25 quid. But for now, I catch the tube to Mornington Crescent and stand outside Camden Palace waiting for Hattie. The usual Saturday night crowd gathers. We're all high on anticipation and other more expensive drugs. Everyone is looking to see who's here, who's not. Some of the boys are wearing fishnet tights under their ripped jeans, but mostly they wear Cossack trousers with ballet pumps. Some of the girls have forgotten to put on their tops on their bras, but have painted their breasts instead. I see a carpet of hats. The fatter, the better, it seems. We are a strange sight, all of us delicately painted new romantics, all vying to be unique, crazy, famous. We want to be seen, to pose. There are the usual clutch of photographers hovering around the wearer of the wildest outfit, hoping to capture the next big thing. Some journalists are interviewing a man wearing a long Dickensian coat with bare feet. No one here cares about drowning in the rich, eerie tones of Depeche Mode or Culture Club. Our priority is to be in with the in crowd. We save our dole money all week for this. 6 days of eating cold baked beans for the possibility of an article in Blitz, a photo in the face, or even better, bonking someone famous. For that, I would do anything. Eventually, an hour late, I spot Hattie wending her way through the crowds, her black curls heaped on top of her head, carefully tied up with an afro print bandana to look alluringly messy. Fucking tune, she says. Apologies are not cool in Hattie's book. It's busy tonight, I say. I hear Boy George is in, she says, looking around for him. She looks shit. Dark rings under her green eyes, pallid damp skin, and horrible spots. Real ace, I say. Excitement. Tasting the excitement. Dagger says to meet him inside, let's queue up. Hattie is shaking and blinking a lot, so I know she's taken something. Dagger is this bloke we met a few months ago who promised us that if we gave him a blowjob, he'd give us a line of coke and then introduce us to Martin Kemp from Spandau Ballet. Before I could say yes, she threw us at that. The coke and the blowjob have become a regular feature of Hattie's Saturday night. I can't tell if she's addicted to the coke or to Dagger. I'm also starting to wonder if she'll ever get to meet Mr. Kemp. We join the straggly line shuffling through the doors of what used to be an old theatre. The droning thump of the music seeps through a further set of double doors. The musty lobby has high ornate ceilings with dark stained wallpaper and sticky carpets. The guy on the door has black hair plastered flat to his head with pointy sideburns and a deathly pallor. Hattie went to primary school with him and she calls him Eric, but his nickname is the Count. Hello there, he says every week. Which one of you space cadets will have a boogie with me later? Neither of us, Hattie snaps. Don't be a dick. Love your face painting, by the way, he says to me. That'll be £4 each. Thanks, Eric. Hattie gives him a fake smile while pocketing one of those new £1 coins. Then we hurry through to dump our coats in the cloakroom. He asked me out once, but Hattie says he doesn't know anyone famous and he's just a nobody. Oh, and he's just a student. We go to the toilets to finish off my vodka. Then we go into the main hall and Dagger is standing inside the door. One of his front teeth is missing and he has a mane of greasy hair tied up with strips of fabric. He grabs Hattie's arm and jerks her back. She grimaces slightly as he bundles her towards the side of the stage behind the DJ's speakers, and in the semi-shade I see he's pushing her down onto her knees. I leave them to it, and I go onto the dance floor. The place is packed, full of swaying bodies, and I'm caught up in the loud, glossy music and the catchy beat and the stench of weed and the heat and the pungent smell of sweat. Suddenly, I don't care about being seen and outrageous outfits and being a groupie and getting in a magazine, or the fact that Hattie is shagging an obnoxious shite. I even forget to the pool because I've drunk most of a bottle of vodka and I'm humming and dancing and swinging my hips. The pulsing synth music falters for a second, and I've realised I've forgotten to look out for someone famous, and I'm desperate for a drink. So I go to the bar, buzzing with damp people, wearing clingy shirts and mascara-smeared eyes. No one observes me. Meanwhile, sweat has dribbled down my back. "Can I get you a drink?" Someone is shouting over the music. I swivel round to see a tall bloke behind me with two-tone hair, black shirt with a white collar and baggy harlequin trousers. He is also wearing a pair of dark shades, which means I can't see his eyes. He looks like he might be famous, but I don't recognise him. "Okay, thanks, double vodka and orange," I say. "Great, don't go away." While he's at the bar, I wipe my eyes, under my eyes, reapply the lippy and check my hairdo. I wonder if this is my chance to be a proper groupie at last. He comes back balancing the drinks above his head. "You like dancing, eh?" he shouts. But before I can reply, there's a camera thrust into our faces, and a small blonde photographer has elbowed his way towards us and is snapping away. "Great hair," he says to me, takes another few shots of us, and then swoops off to capture somebody else. He is quickly lost in the crowd. "I'm Terence, by the way. People call me Tid." He offers me his beautifully manicured hand, and I become acutely aware mine are hot and clammy. "Do you want to dance?" he says. I gulp my drink and we join the dancing throng. Tid stays close, and I see Hattie out of the corner of my eye, face to face with Dagger in the middle of a slanging match. Tid takes off his glasses, and his eyes are small and blue and very bloodshot. He pulls me really close and he puts his arms around me. I close my eyes and try and enjoy the sensation. I don't know if it's just me, but the music starts to sound a bit ominous. I can feel his heart beating against mine, and I want to ask, "Who are you?" But it feels a bit rude. He kisses my neck, squeezes my breast, and whispers, "I've got some coke." And he's pulling me towards the men's toilets, and I'm suddenly really drunk. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for, but why do I feel so crap? We're pushing through the crowd, and I'm thinking, Hattie would be so jealous because Dagger was a nobody. Then we're in the men's toilets, and there is a pile of vomit in the corner, and the most horrendous stench of piss. There is scraping and banging behind the cubicle doors, and Tid is laying out a line of coke on the shelf above the sinks. Hattie stumbles out from the furthest cubicle, and she's been crying. And it's not Dagger in there with her, but another man I've never seen before. She stops in front of me and looks at Tid, then back at me and says, "Lucky bitch." Tid is pushing my head down towards the thin white lines, and I'm worrying my hair will wilt, and I notice he's rubbing himself in my bum. Someone is using the urinal behind me, and I'm trying to snort the powder, but I just can't. Nope, can't do this. I just want to throw up. Maybe it was that last slug of vodka that's pushed me over the edge. I shove Tid's prying hands away and I head for the door. He's probably a nobody anyway. I'm forcing my way through the hot mass of people, weaving between dancing zombies and bald-headed aliens. The floor is wobbling and bucking and I'm going to faint. An arm appears out of the ether and I grab it, and it's guiding me towards the main doors. And suddenly I'm outside and there's a blast of cold air which feels wonderful and miraculous. I balance on a bollard and breathe. After a while I lift my head. The count hovers. I don't say anything and wait for my body to catch up with itself. Silence. No one is out here now. The crowd from earlier have gone, The other groupies have decamped to stand outside another club, and the rest are inside dancing, drinking, snorting and posing. What's the time? I ask. It's almost 12. He offers me a fag. My real name is Eric. He adds. My nausea is subsiding. Another silence, and he sits on the bollard. He's wearing a trench coat and a woolly hat, and suddenly he doesn't look like a vampire anymore. What do you do? He asks. I'm on the dole. You? I'm doing art at Polly. Jealous, I say, and I mean it. The doors to Camden Palace shoot open and Tid is lumbering towards me. Hattie is following close behind. He's standing over me and I hear Eric telling him to piss off. Or you, Count fucking Dracula, she's with me. Tid is stumbling about and Hattie is clinging onto his arms as if her life depended on it. His white collar is coming loose and he's trying to stare at me but he can't quite focus. You owe me, he says, but he's so out of it he just allows Hattie to drag him back indoors. She throws me a triumphant smirk before the doors shut behind him. Who is he? I ask Eric. He's with Kajagoogoo, he replies. Do you want to go back in? I can still smell the men's toilets, and I go, no, I'm not bothered. Eric walks me over to the road to the tube. Do you fancy a drink sometime? He asks. Okay, I say, but let's go somewhere different. Let's go somewhere new. He's a bit of a dweeb, but I give him my telephone number and we do an awkward handshake before I catch the last tube home. No Hattie at the Dole office on Monday morning. I go to the library and I look up courses at the local Polly. On the way out, I flick through Melody Maker, and there, on page 8, is a picture of Tid and Hattie falling out of Camden Palace. And I really don't care.